Welcome to Avalanche Reviews. Top 3 underrated horror games.
Created by Russian development house GSC Game World, Stalker Call of Pripyat is the third and final game in the Stalker series, and in my personal opinion, the most underrated horror game of all time. The Stalker series has never been very popular with the mainstream gaming market for understandable reasons, but in both America and Russia, the series has amassed a very devoted cult following.
Here's to a steady hand.
Just so you guys know, all the footage you're going to see here is from Stalker's third installment, Call of Pripyat, but from here on out, I'll be describing the series as a whole as well. Now, I'm sure we all know about the nuclear meltdown that took place in Chernobyl in the 1980s. Well, Stalker takes place in an alternate future where a second and even more catastrophic event took place roughly 20 years later. This second disaster left 30 kilometers surrounding the plant almost uninhabitable. In this exclusion zone, radiation has warped the landscape, creating dangerous pockets of altered physics called anomalies, and mutated its inhabitants, both human and animal, into twisted creatures. Years after the second blast, it was discovered that the zone's radiation had created odd elements that consisted of radioactive material, concrete, dirt, metal, and even flesh. These otherworldly objects, called artifacts, had numerous properties like increasing endurance or shielding its wearer from gunfire. This made them a major scientific curiosity and thus very expensive. This led to the advent of the Stalker, an individual who enters the zone with the hopes of smuggling out artifacts and other valuables. This is the world that Stalker thrusts you into, a place where everything can kill you and nothing is safe. As a first-person shooter, you would expect a level of simplicity as far as gameplay goes, for obvious reasons. But Stalker has some of the deepest gameplay mechanics I've ever come across. Much like an RPG, your character has base statistics in categories like resilience to physical damage, gunshots, endurance, resistance to psychic phenomena, or radiation and elemental anomalies. But unlike an RPG, these stats can't be changed from the simple act of leveling up. Instead, equipment like body armor, helmets, and artifacts are the only way to improve your stats. This same depth shines through in Stalker's combat. Possessing no automatic cover mechanic, Stalker relies on the player to find his own cover in the zone. And when you do find yourself a nice piece of rubble to hide behind, the game teaches you to make every shot count, as ammo can be a scarce resource. Enemy AI is also brutally tough and won't hesitate to flank your position or toss a couple of grenades. This makes each firefight a tactical calculation of risk versus reward. Engaging in combat may potentially cost you ammo or healing items, but it also leads to the game's most important gameplay feature, scavenging. Looting corpses will be your most profitable source of income in the zone. Downed combatants may be carrying the ammo you've been out of for so long, or high-level weaponry that could turn the tide in the next battle. These mechanics alone would make for an amazing first-person experience, but the game's locations may very well be its greatest strength. Every game in the series sees you taking on the role of a different Stalker, who has to make his way through the zone and try to uncover its mysteries, each for his own different reasons. This path through the zone leads you through some of the most intriguing and interesting locations in video games, period. Every Stalker camp, army checkpoint, or anomaly field has this feeling of deep importance, and further develops the idea that despite its vague familiarity, you are in a completely different world. Common sites like cement plants or gas stations have become bases of operations or mutant nests. I think that part of Stalker's charm comes from navigating the zone and seeing these familiar sights, but knowing that they may not be what they seem. There's a part of your brain that tries to associate these odd settings with what you already know about our world, but this conflicts with your ignorance to this strange place. The simple act of discovering a building in the zone can elicit a very stressful response. This is because you have no idea what may be contained within it. Is it a hotspot for bloodsuckers or a bandit camp? Does it contain life-saving rations or gear, or is it just empty? This uneasy tension and horror permeates through every aspect of the series.
Go to hell, beauties!
But the creep factor isn't only limited to the visual aspects. A large emphasis on ambient sounds gives you a consistent sense of creepiness as well. Walking through the zone will result in almost an infinite amount of creepy audio, especially areas with high psychic distortion. Everything in the game is made to keep you feeling uneasy. The setting is strange and alien, the mutants are terrifying in design and can easily take you down if you're not careful. The audio will give you nightmares, and the zombies. Jesus, don't get me started on the zombies. But I think the biggest source of horror in any Stalker game is the unknown. You never truly understand your surroundings and are constantly worrying about what could be lurking around every corner. The sights of an area once populated by so many people, now reclaimed by nature and altered by radiation, are so odd that you can't help but be a little disturbed by them. And I think this sums the Stalker series up nicely. A game that is equal parts disturbing and enticing. While Stalker's gameplay may be daunting at first, those with the resolve to dig into the series will be treated to a flawed yet amazing experience, and in my opinion, the most intensely terrifying first-person shooter ever made. Well, that's it. That's the end of my list of underrated horror games. Thanks for sticking with me. And if you missed the last two entries, feel free to check them out right here. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a full-fledged review of a Stalker game, because I don't know if you noticed, but I kinda love them. You could also dig me up on Facebook or Twitter. And that was an unintentional Halloween pun.